How to pose hands for boudoir. If you've ever shot boudoir, or literally done anything photography-wise, you will know how difficult it is to pose hands and have them look good and natural. Well, in this video, I am going to give you the tips that you need to start mastering the placement of hands. Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd. I am a professional photographer. I specialize in boudoir, and I've been in the game 13 years. Posing has always been my jam. It's why I have a book out about it. I will link to that book down below. And hands, I mean, there's a few general rules that I'm going to go over here in this video, but when you start to see them as an element of the story, it gets a lot easier to actually place them. So I'm going to run through a handful of different photos and show you different ways that I've placed hands, why I did them that way, and then how to know if you've done it right. So let's dive in. Alrighty, so we are going to start in this photo, and a couple fundamentals when it comes to posing hands. Generally, we want to see the side of the hand. We don't want to see the monster paw. The reason is because the hand is the size of our face. Even though everyone's hands are this big, it looks odd. There's some kind of dissonance that happens in our brains, and we don't like that. It's a subconscious thing, but when we see hands open to or, away from the camera, it just looks odd. And that could be whether the hands are on the knee, that could be whether they're over a shoulder. It doesn't matter. We generally want to turn the hand sideways in photos. So in this image, you can see I have her hand turned totally sideways in the photo. Even the hand in the back there, I should have photoshopped those fingers out of the way. That's fine. But this is a great example of how to position arms. I could have had her place her hand here on her thigh. It could have been back on the bench. It could have been on the bench over here. But any of the places I'm going to have her put her hand, I want to see the blade of the hand. We are karate chopping the photo. That is our objective there. So that is rule number one. We don't want to see monster paws. We want to see sides of the hand. All right, next photo. Like I mentioned in the intro, the hands are an element of the story. So you can have the hands interact with things that tell a story. So in this photo, for example, she is rolling up her comfy socks. Now you'll notice the back of the hand is facing the camera. I don't mind it as much in this image because she's lit from the side. So we don't see half the hand over here. We're really only seeing those two fingers, which keeps the hand essentially looking, half the size. And when it looks smaller like that, it's not competing with her face, which isn't really even a prominent part of this photo. And the other hand is sideways. The thing to keep in mind here, when you have pulling onto things, they're not gripping them and yanking like you're playing tug of war. You're still delicately using the fingertips to pull things along. And this could be pulling a bra strap down, pulling the stockings up, clipping garter belts. You're going to position the hands in a way that look delicate and that look aesthetically pleasing, not necessarily functional. So I guarantee you when she gets dressed in the morning, she's not daintily pulling the socks up her leg. She's just putting socks on. For the sake of photos, we are engineering that mood and feeling by positioning the hands in this way. So what you can do is if you're having someone do the motions like this, have them do the thing the way they normally would. Pull the socks up. You're like, that's cool. Now I'm going to have you roll it back down and do it again, but you're just going to pinch with your middle finger and your thumb and slowly pull them up as if you're pulling a string along, and then adjust the hands from there. So same person, entirely different feel. Holding things. Again, when you're holding on to something, this could be a riding crop, this could be a glass of wine, whatever it may be that they're holding in the photos, soft, delicate hands. I don't know about you, but I've never swept and held the broom with dainty hands. No, I'm gripping onto that thing because I'm moving dirt and whatever around. But in this case, she's got soft hands here, right, with the fingertip up the side. Zoom in a little bit there. Fingertip up the side, thumb up the side. Fingers are all turned. So the palm is facing the camera, but it's turned in a way that makes the hand feel very soft. Down here also, we've got back of the fingers facing the camera, but her hand is angled in a way that we're not seeing the entire palm and hand straight on. It's tilted and positioned to give a little perspective, and the way the fingers are bent, the hand does not compete with the amount of real estate that takes up the face. So again, this could be with a glass of wine, the way that they hold a glass of wine, like my bubbly water right here. I'm not going to hold it toward the camera like this. I'm going to delicately place my hands on it. Go watch a Pepsi commercial anytime where you see the person off to the side, right, and they look at the camera, their hand is always positioned very softly. No one ever picks up their beverage like this because you're probably going to drop it, right? You get a hand on it and you drink it. But for photos, again, we want soft hands turned to the side. So this is exactly what I do when I have someone hold up a champagne flute, a wine glass, or anything else. Soft hands. And the way that I guide them into this, I have them hold the thing they normally would, and then I have them reposition each hand until it is where I want it to be. Okay, over here. Another fantastic example of hand placements. They're part of the story. So in this one, she's got her hand in her hair. We've all seen hand in hair photos. Obviously, my demoing this is a moot point. But the hand is never like this. We don't want to see the open palm. We turn sideways, which is exactly what she's done. And she still has soft hands going through the fingers. When you have hands going in the hair, a couple things to keep in mind. If the fingers are all the way in the hair and it looks like the hand is just cut off, that looks really odd. So you do want to actually see some of the fingers, part of the hand. Same thing if it's underneath the chin, if it's behind the hair and it looks like wrist is just cut off, that looks odd. So we want to see the hand, move it further down the cheek, position it in a way that is flattering for the hands and that frame the face. So again, there are things that don't exist in nature. We don't normally do any of these things, but it looks right for the photos. So having the hand nice and relaxed there. Also the angle of the wrist. Notice her wrist isn't bent like this. That tends to look really odd in photos when the wrist is bent this way. That back, like down here, totally fine. But when the wrist is bent this way, it tends to look odd. So it's more or less straight. There's a little bit of bend to it because I don't like to keep anything super rigid. I like to bend anything that can possibly bend. That's a stylistic choice. But I would rather keep the hand bent a little bit this way than having her totally bending here. One of my favorite poses is to look down into the elbow and get a backlight. So you're framing someone's face in that image. But I don't have the hand here. I have the hand positioned up here. Again, just broken wrist tends to look like a broken wrist, even though they normally bend this way in a healthy manner. So don't break the wrist. And when you have them back down, if they're using their hand as a structural support, like she's using here, you don't want the hand to look smashed like she's really putting all of her weight on it. So a lot of the weight on the hand is going to be right here on the palm, and the fingers are still going to be kind of relaxed, just like they are in this one. You don't need to have them, up like ballet fingers, but this is a great example of how to position the hand so that it looks comfortable, even though it's supporting all of her weight. Keep in mind, some people are double jointed or they can flex more than others. So if the elbow bends at an odd angle or if the wrist bends at a weird angle this way, then you'll have to bring them back and correct that by not straightening their arm, not extending the way that they normally would. Because again, we're not photographing real life. We are positioning things so they look aesthetically pleasing in photos. All right, and last one. Dope. Oh, this was from the composition video I just did, but I wanted to keep this one in here for that. So if you haven't watched the video on the 3 tips for composition, go check that out and I'll break down more reasons this photo is magic. So again, hands are a storytelling element. So she has nice soft hands here, turned sideways from the camera a bit, more 45 degrees. very soft fingers, and she's pulling the strap down on her dress. Powerful storytelling element there. I'm sure if she's getting dressed in the morning or undressed in the evening, whatever, she's not delicately pulling straps off. She's just taking things off. But for the photo, very soft, very delicate. This is how we do that. And it's totally engineered. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, we are creating the photos for the sake of an aesthetically pleasing art piece, not because that's how any of this exists in real life. So check out my other video on how to direct clients, because you have to know how to tell people to do these things effectively. And if you can't communicate that, then none of this is going to work. So again, check out that video on how to direct your clients. That's going to be helpful as well. So, the wrist is at a good angle here. Fingers are nice and soft. She's got her hands very, very delicately on the straps. She's not gripping them. She's not just sliding them off. Probably not the way she would ever actually take this off, but it's fine because it looks good in the photo. The other trick to positioning hands, if you're not sure what to do with them, see this hand down here? No, because you can hide it. Same thing back in this photo. Little fingertips are poking out over there, but in general, you can just hide hands if you don't know what to do with them, if they don't add to the photo. Do I have another one there? Yeah. So in those two examples are ways you can do that. Again, everything that's in an image or not in an image will affect the story that it tells. So you get to choose what you see and what you don't see. And you can just hide things that you don't know what to do with. So, that whether it's tucking them in pockets or bringing them behind the back or holding on to something that covers the hands, putting them up into the hair, whatever you're going to do, cover things if you don't know what to do with them. So these are 5 ways, more than 5 ways, that you can position hands in boudoir. Again, use them as a storytelling element. How can they interact with the environment? How do you keep them looking soft and aesthetically pleasing, even though they're, holding on to things that you would normally want to grip onto? And if you can keep them this way, that is ideal. We don't want monster paws that compete with the real estate taken up by the face or any other body part. So go check out that video on how to direct your clients so you know how to tell people to do all of these things. And if you want to know even more about posing, first subscribe to this channel and then head to boudoirguild.com and you can find my courses all about posing there. So you can start doing this real quick and make money with your camera. You are amazing. See you inside.